Hi folks, this is Steve Grono from Chestnut Home Builders, and I'm here to just a little follow-up on my previous video on Energy Star. We've just completed our Energy Star ductwork seal and framing seal on this house, and I wanted you to see it in person so that you can understand what Energy Star is. There is a big difference between an Energy Star builder and an Energy Star house. For example, any builder can get certified as an Energy Star builder. That is not a difficult bar to achieve. What's difficult is to build an Energy Star rated house. So you have to kind of be careful and read between the lines when you're seeing advertising from different builders. Is Energy Star builder, great. Is the house an Energy Star house? Big, it's night and day. Anyway, let me show you some of the details here on Energy Star. We're going to start with cold air returns, and then I'm going to show you the supply side, how that works. In order to pass the test and be certified as an Energy Star rated home, this is what you have to do. So, cold air returns. This cavity right here is a cold air return in the study that we're looking at. And I want you to just take a look at the flashing. This flashing is all sealed around the flooring and the stud cavities inside and out. As you can see here, this has all been caulked and sealed. So this is, when this drywall goes on here, the drywall is also caulked to the stud on both sides. Now you have a completely airtight cavity, which allows the circulation of the cold air return air to flow smoothly to the furnace and provide good room balance between all your rooms. As you can see, the top of the stud, if you can see that, I'll try to zoom it. The stud is also sealed on both sides so that you have no loss of airflow. Okay, so a couple more examples over here. I think I have one over here to show you. Okay, this one, this cold air return cavity right here is also sealed with foam. This is your foam right here, and it's sealed into the flashing for the cold air return. It's also sealed at the floor here and along the stud all the way up around the blocker. It's sealed with foam, and then at the very top up there, if you can see that, that's also sealed there and over there. So again, when the drywall goes on, it's caulk sealed in place, and you have a 360-degree airtight seal. Okay, a couple more quick things while we're here. This is Energy Star also related. You see the green caulk bead at the floor? That seals up this room so that you have no energy loss to your basement. Or in the case of an exterior wall, no energy loss to the exterior. Also, where the studs are sistered, you see that's a caulk bead that runs all through there and also across the top header completely around. And onto these sisters on the outside wall, they're also caulked and sealed. And if you look here at the window framing, this is also sealed with insulation in this cavity. You can see that all the way around there. Again, this is something that is not required by code. This is all at the option of your builder. They do not have to do this. In fact, I can pretty much assure you that 90% of builders do not do that. It's just an extra step to get the Energy Star rating. We've been doing this process for a number of years before Energy Star became vogue. And it just gives you a much more energy efficient home. So let's go look at the supply side now in the lower level. We've just completed the seal on this house. So as you can see, I hope this comes out in the video, but every joint, every knuckle at that flex, or at that transition, is sealed. After it's all in place and hung and it's all moved to the right position, it's then sealed. As you can see, the gray seal around it. Down here where the joints are made, it's taped plus sealed, so it's a double seal there that makes it airtight. And then down here at the wall, this is where it goes through the floor. Up there at the flange point, that is sealed at the floor also. So you have no loss of energy efficiency at all. All of the air gets where it's supposed to. This is what makes the house have a more comfortable room balance and creates the efficiency of energy efficiency. Here's another example right here. This is a cold air return. You see how we duct the cold air returns to this major plenum right here? This plenum goes all the way down to the furnace and carries the cold air return from each room. Central cold air returns are kind of the kiss of death for energy efficiency. If you see a big grill somewhere in the center of the house, you'll know that that house has a central cold air return. That's the only point that's actually sucking air back to the furnace is that one grill, because they don't do any ductwork in the house to carry the return air back to the furnace. What you're seeing here is the ductwork in our design that carries that return air cleanly back to the furnace. Goes over here, it's sealed, and comes to the cavity where the drywall cavity carries the cold air return. Right there. In here. So that's just a little bit of background on how Energy Star works. Now, after we go to all of this pain to create all of this wonderful seal and all of the caulking and foaming and sealing, what you end up with is a test. And these tests are conducted by licensed and certified testing firms. And what they will do is they will actually pressurize this ductwork. And if there is too much of a loss, a pressure loss in the ductwork, you will fail. And it's a pretty high bar. Even the smallest gap will fail you. You have to maintain a certain level of pressure for a certain amount of time for Energy Star rating to be certified and approved. And otherwise it fails. Again, you can see all of this sealing and all of this caulk throughout the house everywhere. And even at the plenum right here where it's joined to the furnace is sealed. And that's how you achieve that Energy Star rating. So that's kind of a little quick tutorial about how it works, why we do it that way. Also, the bond up here in the top of the foundation wall is closed cell foam. That gives you an airtight seal between your sill plate and your finished floor. If you can see that in the video, that is closed cell foam. The absolute best stuff that you can put into a bond area is closed cell foam. You always want to make sure that's done. And then you will have no energy loss in the bond. That's where a lot of energy is lost in most homes today. Okay, anyway, that's it for now. I hope that was helpful. Thank you.